Hey guys, welcome back. So, when you get the grand stars, you unlock new areas. I'm making some progress. I guess there's only 5 areas, and I've done 3 already. Pretty good. Wahoo! Mario 64 was kind of shorter than I remembered it. I beat it in like 50 episodes or something. And I got all the stars. So it wasn't. So this game might not be that long. I don't remember. I had 2 weird notes today. One was just kind of like an extension. I kind of forgot to mention this from yesterday about like the Christian thing. It's not a big deal, but just like Christians, sometimes they make fun of. Well, there's the whole idea of like you're not supposed to like conform to the world. You're supposed to be godly, and like the world's gonna try to change you, but you gotta be a Christian and stuff. But then modern Christians will like look at Amish people and they'll be like, yeah, but not that much. you can still go to the movies if you want. We're like, wait, maybe they have it right. I don't know. I just think you shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't mention this, but sometimes my family, like when we're talking, and it's fun to joke. I don't want to. Sometimes they'll joke about like Mormons and stuff and be like, oh, they're kind of loopy. Even like Catholics, like I guess that's like a common thing. Like Protestants are like, well, Catholics aren't real Christians. Because they worship Mary, and like you're not supposed to worship Mary. I don't know, it's a bunch of rules for like something that shouldn't really have that many rules, right? I mean, that's why I don't like Catholicism, because it's like so many rules. But then when you're like, if you're a Catholic, then you're not a real Christian. That's like another rule. So but I do prefer the Protestant view of things over the Catholic one, even if the Protestant one isn't perfect, because it's like it's more similar to what Jesus thought. Like, you guys get so many rules about stuff. Like, you go to purgatory unless you do, say, 5 Hail Marys, and you have to give the church 10%, or it's like, what are all these rules? What are you guys talking about? I thought you were just supposed to love your neighbor. And now I have to, like, confess my sins to a priest, or else I won't get into heaven? How does that work? But just be nice to people. They're all doing what they think is the right thing, so. Unless they're hurting somebody, obviously. Like, I guess some of those Amish people can be like, I don't know. I guess you're allowed to leave. I was gonna say it's like kind of cultish, but like, I remember, I don't know, it's weird, because it's like they are kids, so, I mean, what are they gonna do? But they have that like thing where like they're allowed to leave for a week, and if they want to leave, they can leave, but if they want to come back, they can come back. But it's like, are you gonna leave your family? That's what like a cult is. Like, you can't leave because like your family's there, and what are you supposed to do? Yeah, you can leave, but where are you gonna go? So why is this room all wobbly? Because I'm underwater? So be nice to people. That's what that one says. Oh, I had a political note. It's not interesting. Well, I do think the reason why my Final Fantasy X episodes weren't good was because I didn't have notes. I really think I need notes. And I got a little bit cocky, like, I think because before that I was like talking about like depression and stuff, and that just kind of came naturally. So like I didn't really need notes. But if I'm going to talk about other stuff, I need notes. I really need notes to just be like, okay, this is worth posting. Otherwise this is just nothing. What is this? I guess maybe people didn't like Mario Galaxy as much because there's not like as much exploration of the worlds as like even Mario 64. So I guess I can understand that. Like you pretty much know what you're supposed to do. You don't really have to explore too much. What was my political note? I thought it was interesting. I think it's interesting that like everybody in America, 330 million people, I wonder if there's ever been like a poll on this. We all, pretty much, it's got to be like at least 90% of us, we all agree that like the Constitution is a good thing. The founding fathers were like smart people. Democracy is good. That's interesting to me. Like, don't you think that there would be a party? Because whenever people argue in politics, it's always about like interpretation of things and interpretation of laws and stuff in the Constitution. But nobody ever says like, well, I think the Constitution's dumb. I mean, why should I listen to a document written 300 years ago by people who had slaves and they were going to the bathroom in outhouses and stuff in the woods? Like, you'd think there'd be like a political party being like, well, let's make a new constitution. Because like, the old one's kind of old. I mean, I'm still in that boat of like, well, Constitution's good. And let's just make amendments if we want to make amendments. But founding fathers were smart. I'm in that boat still. But it's weird that everybody else is too. There's nobody who's like, I mean, what did I write down? Why isn't there a group of people who are like, the founders are dumb, they lived 300 years ago, they had slaves, who cares what they think? I have as much connection to King George as George Washington. I mean, that's true. I have no connection to George Washington. He was like a cool guy, but... Do I have to live my life based on what he thought 300 years ago was the right thing to do? But I kind of do. I don't know. It is good that we all kind of agree. Like, I guess I'm not proposing that we all start arguing with each other about the most basic thing in the country, the Constitution. But like, even the president's always been like, you know, this is unconstitutional. You'd think I don't know, his personality, you'd think he'd be like, oh, maybe the Constitution's dumb. There should be a new Constitution and I should write it. I guess even he can understand how crazy that sounds. Oop. Boo doo doo doo. There's this idea that people bring up all the time that like there used to be constitutional conventions. Like, I think Thomas Jefferson proposed like every 10 years you should like basically rewrite the Constitution. Oops. I understand why that's scary. Why people don't really want to do it. It's a lot of work. It's like, we gotta rewrite this whole thing every 10 years. This is like, it's good enough. think I understand that. Because I think that's how most people feel. Is like, well, let's not mess with this thing. Like, it's America. We're the best, so let's stay that way? I don't know. I guess I do feel that way. Like, oh, do we really want people rewriting, like the current politicians to be rewriting the Constitution? I don't know. It's kind of scary, so I understand why people don't want to do it. Well, it's like, I don't know. This is kind of a thing maybe I shouldn't say, but like, usually the smartest people don't get into politics. Like, they get into like science and stuff like that. they don't get into politics because I guess today's almost over, right? But there is this weird thing about politics where it's like, it's the most selfish thing and also like the most selfless thing you could do, because it's selfish for the obvious reasons of like, well, you're like these lawmakers and like you don't really have a job. You're just kind of sitting there and telling people what to do and deciding like, well, what's good for me. And then you get paid all this money and you get all this money from like lobbyists and stuff. And you go to like these dinners and events. So it's like, it's kind of a cushy job, and like you're this famous person, but you're like famous for not doing anything. Like, you're not talented, you're just like good at talking, I guess. But it is kind of also the most selfless thing you can do, because of those reasons before, people are going to hate you. Doesn't matter, you could say anything. At least one person's going to hate what you say. And they're going to wish like you were dead and, and somebody else was in your spot. And you have to deal with like the garbage of society, like the stupidest people saying like you have to go to town halls and pretend like they're saying interesting stuff. And be like, yes, that's a good point. I think we should address that point. Even if you don't care, you have to do that, because a person that you're representing, it matters to them, so then it has to matter to you. So it is kind of almost a really selfless thing to do. Wait, what's this one called? Passing the swim test. I don't want to do this. But like, when you're a politician, it is kind of like your job just to get yelled at. Which is why I would never be able to be a politician, obviously. I think I would hate that job. I guess I'm going over this way. Whoa, where am I going? I don't know. Let's go in here. Nope. Okay. I guess that's it for today. Yeah, I'll figure out where to go tomorrow. Am I gonna do another episode? I don't know if I have a note. I want to kind of do 8 episodes every week to build up an episode, and I think I'm not there yet. So that like, I'll have enough episodes for a week. So then if like I got sick or something for a week, I wouldn't have to do it, and I could still have enough episodes for every day. I don't think I'm there yet though. I just posted. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to do it for at least another week or two. Whatever. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.